Former Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Ajit Cabral, has issued a statement responding to the allegations detailed in the report published by the New York Times.
On Monday, the 25th of this month, the New York Times published an investigative report headlined "How China Got Sri Lanka to Cough Up a Port." Referring to the Hambantota port, the report revealed how China had granted Sri Lanka loan facilities at exorbitantly high interest rates, which the New York Times said was the most vivid examples of China's ambitious use of loans and aid to gain influence around the world and of its willingness to play hardball to collect. The report also revealed that at least $7.6 million was dispensed from China Harbour's account at Standard Chartered Bank to affiliates of Rajapaksa's campaign. Responding to these claims made by the New York Times, former Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Ajit Cabral, said the report written by Maria Abi Habib undoubtedly confirms she was on a mission to provide a predetermined and completely one-sided viewpoint. The former central bank governor says, despite an hour-long interview where he countered every allegation raised by the journalist, Maria Abi Habib has chosen to ignore all his responses. When contacted by Newsfirst, Maria Abi Habib said it is only the ability of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa to speak to the allegations that China Harbour Engineering Company Limited funded his campaign. She said, quote, "We tried to contact Rajapaksa multiple times via phone, email and WhatsApp," unquote, but did not receive a response. She adds the former president's team, quote, "should have been able to respond to the 10 very detailed questions we sent them multiple times over 2 months," unquote. Maria Abi Habib said she flew to Sri Lanka multiple times to interview both Mahinda Rajapaksa and Basil Rajapaksa and never got a positive response about an interview. The International Monetary Fund has on several occasions warned Sri Lanka to be cautious about China's Belt and Road Initiative. The International Monetary Fund has on several occasions warned Sri Lanka to be cautious about China's Belt and Road Initiative. The IMF made the warning in its 2018 Article 4 consultation and the 4th review under the extended arrangement under the Extended Fund Facility issued on the 20th of this month. In its 4th review, the IMF says to reap the benefits of China's Belt and Road Initiative, Sri Lanka should carefully manage large-scale capital projects. It adds while the Hambantota Port and Colombo Port City project can foster Sri Lanka's growth through greater regional trade and financial integration, they should be selected and managed carefully, given the country's high public debt and social development needs. Staff stressed with the authorities the importance of sound and transparent project selection. Addressing a conference in Beijing on the 12th of April this year, IMF Managing Director Christine Lagarde said, quote, "The Belt and Road Initiative can provide much-needed infrastructure financing to partner countries. However, these ventures can also lead to a problematic increase in debt, potentially limiting other spending as debt service rises and creating balance of payment challenges. In countries where public debt is already high, careful management of financing terms is critical," unquote. According to the IMF, outstanding bilateral loans from China to Sri Lanka's public sector, including state-owned enterprises, are estimated at about $4.6 billion at end 2016, which is 5.8% of the GDP. However, while the IMF has also lended Sri Lanka a massive amount of loans, various conditions were presented to the country to release the final tranche of a $1.5 billion loan. The government of Sri Lanka was scrutinized as it made legal reforms to the Exchange Control Act and Inland Revenue Act and also introduced a new pricing mechanism for fuel and electricity as per the requirements of the IMF. Meanwhile, MP Namal Rajapaksa tweeted yesterday saying, quote, "Many inaccuracies in this article. Acknowledging the port is near one of the world's busiest shipping lanes shows why it's still a major focus for the West, fearing China's growing global influence. Sri Lanka's assets shouldn't be used as geopolitical pawns in this power struggle."
Mahinda Rajapaksa lost, leaving a debt of $5 billion. It is a shame to say he received funds for the presidential election, making the rest of the people in this country debtors. As this issue comes out, we saw Mahinda Rajapaksa's son Namal Rajapaksa responding via Twitter. This is what you call nonsensical answers. He says, "These are being done because of jealousy." Please read this properly. They are talking about what has happened to Sri Lanka, not China. There are 3 people who can confirm this. One is Susil Premajanta, who was the then General Secretary of the United People's Freedom Alliance. He was the one who served as the chairman of the organizing committee of the presidential election. The second person is Anurupriya Darshanayappa, who was the General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. The third person is China Harbour. If there are accusations about certain things, all I have to say is that every country has a law, doesn't it?
We request the appointment of a Presidential Commission of Inquiry equipped with all powers. If Mahinda Rajapaksa says that these allegations are false, he must hand an affidavit into Parliament.